Fish on Fridays. I'm McCauley. Today, I want to make a wager. I don't know, but I would bet that many of you might not realize that the $1 bill has Christian, and I would say Catholic, symbolism on it. Now, you might say, well, where is that? Well, obviously, on the back of the $1 bill, we've got the phrase up there, "In God we trust." Now, that's not specifically Catholic. But if you look to the side here, you see the pyramid right there. The pyramid with the all-seeing eye. That, long before any denominations, Protestant denominations took root, that was an early church symbol of God's providence. The triangle or the pyramid, which represents the Trinity, the triune God. And at the top, the eye, the all-seeing eye, if you will, represents God's providence and God's love and care and benevolence and mercy in our world. And that God is our protector. Now, the founding fathers of our country are what we call deists. Deists believe that God was like a watchmaker, a clockmaker. He made the world and then he put it on a shelf and let it run to its own devices. And what happened. He didn't intervene a whole lot. And so that's not a Catholic view, obviously, but the deists accepted the pyramid and the all-seeing eye as part of their understanding of God in the universe. But again, both those symbols, the eye and the pyramid, were Catholic symbols since the beginning, long before any kind of split in Christianity. What's interesting about the eye, real quick, is the eye is, for many cultures, has meant about God's providence. If you look back about 3,000 years BC, the Sumerians would make statues of their of people and of their gods, and their gods in particular, their eyes would be wide open because they wanted to signify that God was alert, that God was watchful, that God was keeping tabs. Their gods were keeping tabs over them because they were polytheistic, so I say gods. In ancient Egypt, the Eye of Horus was meant to represent protection and guidance for the Egyptian people. And that's a symbol that's very well known even today. It's recognizable, although we might not know what it means. But the Eye of Providence was very, very important. And if you look back at the symbol of the dollar bill in the pyramid, there are two phrases that kind of encircle it. And I'm going to look here because I don't pronounce my Latin too well. But the first one is, it looks like, Annuit coeptis, which means, basically it means providence approves our undertaking. So this was the idea that the early founders of our country wanted to give God credit and say, providence, that God is in charge here, that God approves of all this. At the bottom of the pyramid, you see another Latin phrase, and that is Novus Ordo Seclorum, which basically means a new order of all the ages. That the United States is starting out as this new place, and it's going to establish a new order where people from all kinds of different countries come together, different creeds, different colors, if you will. Obviously, we've had our troubled history as a country, but that was the ideal. That was always the ideal, that we would be a new order, a world order for the ages. And it was all under the ever-present watchful eye of God. And this is something that God ordained, that God wanted. And the Trinity, the pyramid, represents the immersion, if you will, of the Trinitarian faith in this new land, in this new order, in this world. Now, I have to say this as an aside because there's a lot of novels and there have been a lot of movies made about things like the Illuminati and all that kind of stuff, the Knights Templar and whatnot. I got to tell you that those things have nothing to do with this, okay? They were either disbanded or discounted. There's absolutely no evidence in all the research I've done. There's no evidence at all, hard, fast historical evidence that those symbols, the eye and the pyramid, have anything to do with other than Christianity. Now, some people want to come up with all kinds of conspiracy theories, and that's fine. You can do that. But from a Catholic standpoint, from a Catholic Christian standpoint, I think it's really cool to look at my dollar bill when I'm paying something, and maybe even to stop and say a prayer and thanksgiving to God for our country and the blessings that we have. When I see the back and it says, "In God we trust," and I see those words around the pyramid and the eye, I think about how, boy, I hope and pray that God is watching over our land, and we really need that. But anyway, just some interesting thoughts about, again, another way our Catholic faith really imbues everything that we do. So I hope you found this helpful and interesting. If you'd like to share it, please feel free to do so. Would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. But either way, please keep tuning in for more Fish on Fridays every Friday. Until next time, be good to each other, and God bless.